And now, here's your host, Nicole Monique.
Hey everybody, and welcome to That's What She Said Sports. I'm your host, Nicole Monique. Just recently, we had the opportunity to tape 2 shows at Benchwarmers Sports Grill here in Atlanta. We had fun. We had everything you could want: sports, food, and fun. So take a look and let us know what you think. And remember, you can always hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and our website. All right, well, I want to welcome everybody to Benchwarmers, and you are watching That's What She Said Sports. Can I hear it?
Good deal.
All right. Well, again, welcome. My name is Nicole Monique. I'm your host, and I'm really excited. We were just here, a few weeks ago, so it's great to be back. And just want to remind you all that we have some drink specials tonight. You are at a sports bar, so it's always nice if you can drink and eat. But you have Long Island iced tea, you also have the Washington apple shooters, and you have an NFL bucket. I do not know what's in that bucket, but they tell me it's some good stuff, okay? Right. So at the end of the last show, I had a lot of people come up to me and they were like, hey, are you gonna ever do a show where you have another woman on the show or you have some other sports chicks? And guess what? I have another sports chick next to me for this show.
All right.
Let's give it up for Tiffany Frazier.
Thank you, Nicole.
Tiffany is a newlywed.
Yes, I am.
And she's also a diehard Colts fan. She says she bleeds blue. So,
I do.
wow.
Oh, I mean, what is all that? What is all that? Whoa. All I have to say is 8-4. That's all I have to say. 8-4.
We used to be Colts fans together, but that's a whole long story. I'm still not over the whole Peyton Manning thing, and I know I need to get over it, but I can't, so.
It's okay.
But what we like to do here, and That's What She Said Sports, is, as you know, it's called Sports Talk Her Way. It's all about sports talk, food, and fun. You can't beat that, right? So we're going to start out with some topics as far as what's trending right now. And then we're going to go from what's trending, and then we're going to go to talk a little bit about some NBA. So you guys ready?
Woo!
Can I hear it? Yeah. Do we have any sports fans out there? Yeah. All right. So in light of everything that's been going on these past few days, we have to touch on it. Obviously, everybody knows the story about what happened regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think we can all agree this was a tremendous tragedy, very sad story, something that with every day it seems like we're getting new information. And Tiff, I wanted to ask you, as far as what's your take, do you think the Chiefs should have played that Sunday? Personally, I don't think they should have. As big as a sports fan as I am, especially when it comes to football, I just had a hard time with, this was so out the box. This was so not only what we're used to, but also not what the NFL's used to. And I just felt like they could have used this one day to not have played that game. It would have spoke volumes to everybody, within the community. I mean, domestic violence is a huge issue. I think by playing, I get what they were doing. The team said they had agreed, but then I just feel like, you know what? It's just one game. So, your take?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but and also, too, I think, for Kansas City, for the community. I mean, the Chiefs are such a huge part of Kansas City and the community. So I think, just to try to make some sort of sense out of everything, I just think that they did what they knew how to do.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that, it was a horrible tragedy. It was, just unspeakable. But I think that, for the Kansas City fans, for, what the Chiefs mean to Kansas City, I think that that's really what the purpose was behind it.
I think the main thing that's really disturbed me right now is that they're not talking about Cassandra Perkins. I get the guy, he was in the NFL, and I get the players, his friends are saying we're going to miss him, but I think at the end of the day, we have to keep putting her name out there so that we don't have another Cassandra Perkins if this happens to. And I think all of us need to keep their little baby in our prayers because she's only 3 months old today, but can you imagine for the rest of her life, we're all going to be watching her. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's just continue to keep everybody in their prayers. It definitely was a sad story.
Absolutely.
And, it's one of those things where we'll be talking about it from years on end.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want to move on to something which I thought was interesting. I had been talking to this with some guys. Just recently, Jacoby Jones was being interviewed by Michelle Tafoya, and at the end of the interview, he had made the comment, "Thank you, gorgeous." And I don't know if you all saw, there was a press conference that Cam Newton did where he actually called a reporter sweetie a couple times. And I thought this was interesting, and I had a couple guy friends who kind of asked me how I felt about it. And for me, honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I think it's in the industry, as we all know, it's male dominated. But, you know, it's just one of those things where it happened, you kind of move on. But I do feel like a lot of people are having a hard time with it. What you think, Tiff? You want to be called gorgeous and sweetie?
That's a mess. I'm just looking at it from, like, if you're looking at, like, would Cam Newton have said that to, like, Skip Bayless?
I hope not.
Or homie, or, like, you know what I'm saying? I hope not either.
I hope
I'm just
not.
saying, I'm like, you know, there's just a certain level of respect that I think is due.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily, you know, I just don't think that was really given. You know, I think it was just treated very casually,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a mess.
Well, what I thought was interesting is actually when Jacoby Jones did it, it didn't seem as bad. But for some reason, when Cam Newton did it, I think the fact that he just kept doing it.
Over
it was
and over
like,
and over.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was like, sweetie, sweetie, sweetie. And after a while, I just wanted her to be like, it's Cindy, or it's Sarah, or something. It's like, I get
Right.
it. I'm sweetie. Let's stop. So.
Yeah, it just was a little bit, it was a little extra to me.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that, you know, again, like if it was, you know, Stephen A. Smith, or if it was Skip Bayless, or if it was somebody, you know, anybody,
Yeah.
any man, would you have really, you know, been so casual with a man that, you know, was interviewing you? No, I don't think
Probably
so.
not, but I do
don't
have
think
some names I would call Skip Bayless. I'm just putting that out there. So I don't think it'd be sweetie or gorgeous, but I'm just putting it out there. So.
You don't love Skip?
No, just recently, in fact, yesterday, speaking of, sidebar, they had Chad Johnson on their show, Ocho Cinco, as we all know, who's going through a lot. And I just felt like it was one of the rudest interviews I had ever seen. I mean, the man had told you what happened with his wife.
Right.
The man had told you, I miss my family. He was asked, can you see yourself back in the NFL? And every time he answered the question, Skip Bayless is like, I don't believe you, I don't believe you. And I'm like, you know what? I tweeted, I was like, Chad, walk off the set. I would have walked off.
Skip doesn't believe anybody, though.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But he does love Tim Tebow. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, God.
So, but anywho. So moving on, recently David Whitley, if you all don't know, he's an AOL fan house columnist. He did a very disturbing article on Colin Kaepernick, who is the new quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And he talked about the fact that, I don't know if you guys have seen him before, but he has tattoo sleeves, you know, the tattoos on the arms, like the full sleeve. And he compared him to inmates in California. He talked about the fact that him and Vic and Terrell Pryor, basically they weren't quarterback CEO types, that a quarterback is like a CEO, they have to look a certain way. And it was like, really? I mean, it's tattoos. I mean, come on. So he got him this kick. And what do you think about as far as not only his tattoos, but just athletes as far as with the tattoos in general? I mean, when you're watching it, are you looking like, wow, they look like a bunch of inmates? Because if that's the case, the NBA is tatted up. So what you think, Tiff?
Like Cell Block 35 in the NBA. I mean, with the, I don't necessarily agree with the way that he presented the information, but I do get that there's a certain way that historically your quarterback, like you want your quarterback is supposed to be your franchise. So your franchise is supposed to represent.
But what do the tattoos mean, though?
The
I mean, and
tattoos-
actually, they're all biblical phrases. So it wasn't like he had a skull and bones or, you know, some naked girl or something. I mean, he has like Bible verses on his arm. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I get it, but I also understand, like, there's just a certain, like, I feel like also, you know, quarterbacks are, like, the face of your organization. So you know, like, I'm looking at, like, Andrew Luck and things that, you know, those particular things. Like, there's just a certain way or a certain thing that you want your quarterback to kind of represent. And
So what about, let's say, for instance, and I'm going to pick on, Carrie, don't kill me, I'm going to pick on RG3. I'm not a big fan of his hair. We're going to pick on tattoos. I'm just going to say,
pick on him.
I'm not a fan of his hair.
That's a mess.
So we need quarterbacks to look a certain way.
Exactly. I
We
agree.
might want to cut those off.
Hey, I mean, I don't like that hair either.
Okay.
All
right.
That's a mess.
Okay. So you can take off the tats, and I'll do the and I'll take off the braids.
I think we just need to do like an NFL makeover.
Okay.
And just do it like that, you know. But no, I mean, I get where he was coming from. I don't necessarily like tats. Colin Kaepernick, I think it was more of, you need to really measure what he's actually doing on the field versus like a arm sleeve or whatever. I mean, that arm is throwing a gunslinger. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think if they were to win the Super Bowl, I don't think
Nobody
of us would care about his tattoo. So, yeah, that's a great point. So this is a good one, and this is something that's been talked about for a while because some new information just came out today. As we all know, there's always anonymous sources in the NFL, right? As far as guys who say stuff, but they don't want to tell us their name. So a few weeks ago, some guys had talked about Tim Tebow being a horrible quarterback, and we don't like him, and this, that, and the other. And then today, some more anonymous sources, big shocker, they said that Cam Newton was acting like a diva at the Pro Bowl. They said he was selfish. There's a lot of allegeds where he didn't talk to like Ray Lewis and guys like this. And do we really care about anonymous sources?
No, because I feel if you're anonymous, I mean, then what does that really mean? Like you don't have the courage to come up and say what you really feel. And if this is a problem to you or this is bothersome to you, then why don't you approach the particular source that's bothering you? Like if you're anonymous, like I really don't care.
Yeah, because the other argument with that is, well, I want to remain anonymous because I don't want to necessarily say anything because it could jeopardize me or I could get blacklisted in the NFL.
Don't say anything then.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Aw, Tiff, that's so nice.
Not really.
All right, so I want to ask you all out there, you can shout out a few teams. I think I have an idea. But I want to know, who is the most underrated team in the NFL today? Okay.
The Falcons.
You guys think the Falcons are underrated?
Falcons.
Okay, all right. What do you think about the Bengals? Underrated? Bengals? No? Nobody's... Okay, all right. I got to do the Colts. Underrated? Yeah,
Seattle's a come-up team.
Yeah, Seattle's definitely on my list. Definitely underrated. So at one point I thought Tampa until they lost. So what do you think, Tiff?
I honestly think the most underrated team in the NFL right now is the Falcons. I mean, they keep winning week after week. They find a way to win. They have the best record in the NFL. And they don't get their props. I mean, they don't win pretty, but they win. So.
Okay, well, I got that, and I hear you, but can't you all agree, until they win at least one playoff game, they're not going to get their props?
Yeah.
They're not going to get their props? I mean, you have to agree, last year, you go to the playoffs and you get 2 points. Yeah, right? People are still feeling that. So, yeah. So, all right, well, that's a good argument, but and I feel you on that.
Yeah.
I've been hearing people saying, well, the Falcons are winning, but they're not dominant. The Falcons aren't playing hard. But at the end of the day, they're 11-1. That speaks volumes. But you're right. You're right. You probably will buy a ticket and you'll be there. But
yeah.
All right. So let's switch it up to the NBA. Just recently, Michael Jordan was banned from an exclusive golf club, country club in Miami, for wearing cargo shorts. So first, my question is, do we care? And number two, it's Michael Jordan. It's not like I showed up in cargo shorts and then I could see as far as getting kicked out. But what do you think? Who's the winner and loser with this?
In the club's defense, the shorts were really ugly. I mean, they were ugly shorts. I mean, I'm like, gosh, like you're.
But Michael Jordan had the shorts on.
They were so ugly, though.
I know.
They were ugly shorts. But no, I mean, I guess there were rules about the
banned, really?
Yeah, I mean, like, how do you really ban Michael Jordan from anything?
Yeah.
Because he's like the king of basketball. But I'm like, they were ugly shorts. Though.
Okay.
They were ugly.
All right. Well, I'll give you that.
They were ugly.
All right. So in other NBA news, speaking of, since we just talked about New Orleans, they're changing their name. They're no longer going to be the Hornets. They're going to be the Pelicans. Woo! Not feeling it? No, not feeling it. No, nobody wants to be a Pelican? Aren't Pelicans sexy? No? Okay.
Why? I don't understand.
So you don't like the Pelicans?
A pelican is not even a strong bird. It's like Toucan Sam or something. Like what? I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's not Toucan Sam.
I don't understand. I don't understand. No.
The Pelicans represented in Finding Nemo. I'm just saying.
Oh.
They did well. I'm just saying. But it's interesting, if they do officially give up Hornets, they're saying that Michael Jordan would buy it for his team. And I think that would help them win. Okay. Alrighty.
You think so?
Yeah. I think if they're the Charlotte Hornets again, I think that would help them win.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. It just like got crickets. Wow. Okay. It totally didn't.
Like talent, new GM, new just everything for the what are they now? The New Orleans or the Charlotte
Bobcats.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, they might need to purchase that name. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tiff, switching gears again, kind of going back to football. I want to ask you, because I know you're a Colts fan. Give me the 2 teams that you can see realistically at the Super Bowl.
Oh goodness.
I heard a shout out for the Packers.
I did hear that.
But I said realistically.
Realistically at the Super Bowl.
Just kidding.
From the NFC, I'm going to tell you, Seattle is the sleeper team. I think Seattle is creeping up on a lot of people. People are not really, just thinking about Seattle. Right. I think Seattle can really go in. They have the potential to knock out San Francisco.
Well, and I think since you brought them up, I want to take the time to look in the camera and apologize to Pete Carroll, because when he named Russell Wilson the quarterback, I was like, this is a hot mess. It's not going to work. You might as well go back to USC. And I can admit when I'm wrong, it worked. And he's actually creeping up there in the to be one of the star rookies as far as getting Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
Yeah, so I'll definitely give you that. So give me another team.
AFC, as much as it's going to pain me to say this, I see the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Really?
I see them. I mean, like they're just playing. They're really under the radar. They're playing nondescript.
That's true. And
they're creeping up when it really, really matters. Like so, I think if they play the Texans tonight, right?
No, Denver and Oakland play tonight.
Denver and Oakland tonight?
Yeah.
So when are they? I know the Patriots and the Texans play. Maybe there's Sunday. I think if Patriots get past Texans. I mean, it pains me to say this because you know how much I love the Patriots.
Yeah.
But I really see them. I can see them going back.
I don't
for a
want
second
them
time.
there.
I don't want either.
I don't want them there. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not a fan. I just can't. Every time Bill Belichick wins, it just feels like a little of me just dies
Spygate.
inside.
That's all I have to say. Spygate.
Right. Yeah. But okay. All right.
Who are your picks?
So you know what? It's. I'll be honest with you. This is probably one of the first years I really can't pick. It is so all over the place. You know what I mean? Like there's obvious ones. Like I want to say the 49ers, but then I don't know. So it's one of those things where I think I need another week. Okay. Then I can make my.
And you can never count out the G-men, even though they lose.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the Giants. I mean, when it comes to the playoffs, they can play like never before.
Right.
So, and then you got the Steelers kind of have snuck in.
With Charlie Batch.
I'll say it again for the one man out there, Steeler Nation.
Only if you get Ben back, because Charlie is not taking you to the Super Bowl.
And then you have the Ravens, but see, I don't believe in Joe Flacco. So he's too sometimey for me.
But they've held on as far as defense. Like even though everybody's counting Baltimore out, they're still they've only lost 2 games.
And apparently something's going on in Baltimore because everybody is ripping triceps and biceps. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's like Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs. I mean, what are you doing that you're just ripping up, literally?
They play hard.
So, all right. Well, this has been fun. Thank you, Tiffany, for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's give it up for Tiffany Frazier. So, I think us sports chicks held it down. I think we did good. All right. So, and again, we are at Benchwarmers in Atlanta, and my name is Nicole Monique, and you've been watching That's What She Said Sports. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you.
All right.